Okay, a lot to get through today. It's been a while since we updated you guys, so here goes. Starting from the beginning. Last time we got her an ultrasound was in March. It was March 17th. Most recent ultrasound that we got her was in April 28th, so about a month ago. Today is May 31st. So, bad news first. They found two more tumors in her liver, in different sections of her liver. Before, in the March 17th, which is on the left here, there was a 1.8 centimeter and a 1.5 centimeter in the right liver. Now there is an additional 1.1 centimeter in her mid dorsal and a 1.3 centimeter in her left lower liver. So there's now four tumors in her liver. The two previous tumors did not grow in size, so they're still 1.8 and 1.5 centimeters. But now we have an additional 1.1 and 1.3. Her lymph nodes did not change much. They didn't see the enlarged lymph nodes on the previous exam back in March, and they saw them this time, and they were about the same size as they were in January, February. So, not looking good. Kiara definitely on the inside looks pretty bad, but on the outside, barely tell. She's still her happy usual self. Here's the weird thing, though. Let's actually keep going. I'll just do it in sequential order. So, on the left here are all the notes that I've been taking ever since we started doing this. I capped it off at January because it's just too much to put on one page. So before I get into that, let's go over her blood work that we also got done, because we didn't do blood work before in March because she was just doing so well. We didn't think we needed to. We're just going to get the same results. So more money for the same thing that we were going to see from January, February. But this time we got her blood exam, and turns out that her liver enzymes were extremely high, which is what they would expect. It's almost triple digits. Right here it says 10 to 100 is the usual average that you would see. Hers was at 289. So it is triple what it should be, just about. And it's not good. And they said that's consistent with liver damage. That's what they would see if her liver was being burdened or taking some kind of pain. It'd be increased liver enzymes like that. The other thing that they said that they would see is her neutrophils would be a little high, which it's not too high. It's only 4% too high, and her lymphocytes are low, which isn't too low, just 6% too low. And then her absolute lymphocytes, which is just barely out of range, 1190, and the lowest that you would see on average is 1200, which we did see in previous blood exams, so that's not too shocking. But yeah, her blood test isn't looking too good when it comes to the liver values. However, that being said, when we took her in and they saw that there was 4 new nodules, they told us that it's not looking good. So we wanted a second opinion. We went to another vet, and that was the vet that was helping us out with the surgery. That's the primary vet, but the surgical vet, the emergency vet, and there the doctors were telling us they were not expecting to see her. They thought for sure she would have passed on by now. So that was very comforting, very reassuring that even the vets at the emergency hospital were like, dude, it's actually kind of surprising that it took this long for her symptoms to progress, because this is pretty consistent with what you would usually see, but the fact it took this long, who are we to say that what you're doing isn't helping? So that was their words, and it was very comforting to hear that we may be making a difference, and this might be worth it, and we're not just wasting our time here. So it's nice to have that kind of reassurance. So despite everything, the vets are shocked that she's still around. So no, that's blessing in disguise, or very comforting in the very least. Moving on to the notes that I've been taking on what we've been giving her and how she's been reacting and all that kind of stuff. Back in March, she was just taking ivermectin, just ivermectin. But then when she started vomiting pretty frequently, we decided to implement sorafenib. So right here it says March 15th at 9:30 p.m. She took 1.4 milligrams of ivermectin, and then on March 22nd, just about a week later, we gave her some dandelion root with some sorafenib. So this is our first time incorporating sorafenib, which is FDA-approved medication for liver cancers, for hepatocellular carcinoma. So it's not like it's not supposed to be going into her system for her liver. It's actually, this is what it's meant for. So we started incorporating sorafenib in combination with ivermectin, but to make sure that she could handle it, we just gave her a similar dose of sorafenib that is similar to the ivermectin to see if she would have any serious side effects or if it would hurt her. And she handled it very, very well. She almost seemed like she didn't even notice that we gave it to her. So the next day, we decided to give her some ivermectin to go on top of that sorafenib. And according to the study that we saw and that I spoke about earlier, the sorafenib study, it's in a ratio of 1 to 2. So for every 1 milligram of sorafenib, you need 2 milligrams of ivermectin in order for it to be synergetic. So obviously we're going to be close to 2 milligrams of ivermectin for the 1 milligram of sorafenib. So we didn't want to give her too much to start, though, because we didn't want to overload her system. We just wanted to like ease into it. So we didn't go all the way to that full dose of 2 milligrams. We just wanted to give her enough to where it would synergize, but not enough to where it would overpower her. So yeah. And then at 5 p.m., we also gave her a 0.5 milliliter dandelion root extract, just something natural, essential oils, that kind of thing, that we found online. That was very organic. So that's what we've been giving her. We heard, because we hear that dandelion root's very good for the liver as well. And she has no problem taking the dandelion root, so we just continued giving her dandelion root every day, and until about a week later, we started giving her another 2 milligrams of ivermectin on March 29th with 1.2 milligrams of sorafenib. Then March 30th, we started giving her more of the dandelion root, and she threw up on the 31st of March when we gave her the dandelion root. So maybe it was just the fact it's too bitter and we need to water it down a bit more. So that's what we started doing. And on April 1st, we gave her another 2 milligrams of ivermectin and 1 milligram of sorafenib. And Kiara vomit a hairball. And we looked up how long it takes for a cat to process what's in their stomach, and it says about 1 to 3 hours for a cat to process food. So since we gave it to her at 10:10 and at 10:30, she threw it up. At best, she could have only absorbed 33% of what we gave her. So we decided to give her more, but not too much, because we don't know how much she absorbed exactly. So we just kept it pretty low with a redose of 1.2 milligrams of ivermectin and 0.8 milligrams of sorafenib at about 10:50. So about 40 minutes after her first initial dose, we redosed her because she threw up a little bit. And then April 5th, as you can see, we stopped giving her the dandelion root. We just figured if we're giving her the synergetic properties of ivermectin and sorafenib, dandelion root's probably just, it's too much. At some point, it's just too much. Like, we'll give it to her every once in a while, but every single day, we're just continuously forcing her liver to process more and more, and we need to give it a break. So slow down a bit. And then, so April 5th, she took some more ivermectin and sorafenib. So this was we started doing this by a week, on a weekly basis, and we slowly started cutting that gap of time down in between to see how much she could handle safely. So first it was 1 week, and then after that it was 5 days, and then after that it was 3 days, and then after that it was 4 days. So on April 1st, that's when she took the 1.2, or that's when she first took the 2.2 and the 1.3 together. Then on April 5th, she took 2.1 ivermectin and 1.1 sorafenib. Then April 8th, she took 2.0 ivermectin and 1 milligram sorafenib. So this is where we started doing a 3.5 day thing. So every 84 hours is when she would redose. You can see here April 5th to April 8th. On April 5th at 8:14 a.m. and then on April 8th at 8:26, or April 5th was 8:14 a.m. and April 8th was 8:26 p.m. So it's about 84 hours in between. Because that is what this nice little thing on the right here has shown me. This is a drug half-life calculator. And if you just type into Google drug half-life calculator, it should give you this as the first link. What's interesting about this is it tells you how much will still be in the system over time. So this is the dosage that you would do, and this is the timeline on the bottom. So here on the bottom is how many hours it's in her system, and then the dosage is on the left. So if you redose every 84 hours, you'll see it pops back up every 84 hours. That's the redose. And it plateaus right around here. So this is a dosage of 4 milligrams. So you can see here the dose is 4 milligrams. The half-life of the drug, which is ivermectin, has a half-life of 2.5 days in cats. So the offset would be 3.5 days. 0, 3.5, 7, 10.5, 14, 17.5. Let's fix that. It should be 17.5, not 17.4. There we go. There we go. Now it should be more accurate. And then 21 and 24.5. So every 3.5 days, every 84 hours, she would be getting a redose of ivermectin. The reason we did 4 is because with it being synergetic, it would be 2.1 milligrams with 1.1 milligrams. We wanted to be absolutely sure that what we're giving her is not going to become toxic in some way, shape, or form. So originally I did it with 2 milligrams, and it showed that it would be about right around here. About 4.5 milligrams would still be in her system every 84 hours. That's where it plateaued, was right there. At 4 milligrams, it plateaus right around here at about 6.3, 6.4, somewhere around there. So this is a very useful tool in calculating how much you should be giving your pet or your loved one over extended amount of time. And I thought it was very, very useful and helped me figure out what would be safest for her. So back here on the notes, that's what we started doing. So April 12th, redosed. And on April 12th is when it should be noted that her frequent vomiting, because she was vomiting every day, sometimes three times a day, it was getting bad. And she would just continuously vomit, and it was becoming a hassle to like help her because she couldn't keep her food down. And if she couldn't keep her food down, she couldn't keep her medicine down. If she couldn't keep her medicine down, then it just wasn't going to help. So she was throwing up a lot, and that's kind of the reason why we also decided to stop with the dandelion root. Just too much for her. It's just too much. And on April 12th, her frequent vomiting slowed down. It declined quite a bit, and it also helped a lot when we switched to a different brand of wet food. We were getting this wet food from Sprouts that was like supposedly super healthy for her. So maybe that was the reason why she was throwing up so much, because buzz eating just was not sitting right with her, especially with her medicine. So don't know. Could it be a number of reasons? Could be the cancer, could be the food, could be the medicine. We don't know. All I do know is that her frequent vomiting slowed down quite a bit. And then April 15th is another redose of the 2-to-1. And then on April 17th, 11:30 a.m. Due to Kiara continuously vomiting, we're moving forward with incorporating fenbendazole. This was a mistake. Do not do this. Fenbendazole has a study out that shows it is actually a tumor promoter in livers, specifically in the liver. So that's what we want to avoid, is messing with her liver. So with that being said, just don't incorporate fenbendazole into the picture. It's not good for the liver. It's just not good for the liver. So I'll share that study. I'll make sure that the video here gets it. There we go. Okay. So I'll pull that up here in a minute. So we started incorporating fenbendazole into the rotation. The dosage for cats is supposedly 55 milligrams per kilogram, which would translate to a dose of 220 for Kiara, because she's right around 3.7 kilograms in weight. That seems high, considering she's also taking ivermectin and sorafenib, so decided to just do 74 milligrams crushed up in her food. Should be noted that there's 4 milligrams of ivermectin combined with that fenbendazole, because the only way we could get it was from a supplement online. Should also be noted that if her liver is not functioning well, fenben can be dangerous. However, adding liver supplements like dandelion root should have a synergetic effect that can act as a therapeutic, which was also in another study. But it's just not worth it. It's not worth the risk, considering there are studies showing that it is a tumor promoter in the liver. So we put it with her wet food and gave her some dandelion root to wash it down. And then a few days later, the next day, she was very reluctant to eat. She was given a small dose of mirtazapine to help her eat. Then April 19th, she takes another 2-to-1 ratio of ivermectin and sorafenib. And then 20th, we gave her more dandelion root. And then later that day, she took it with her fenben and her ivermectin. Then she took another 100 milliliters of dandelion root. 31st, same. We gave her some anti-nausea medicine that day on April 21st to help her keep her food down because she was still throwing up. April 22nd, she does another 2-to-1 dose. And April 24th, more fenben. So you can see we're splitting the difference. So every 3.5 days, she's taking the sorafenib ivermectin. Then every second day, she'd be taking the fenben. So it'd be like sorafenib and ivermectin, and then a day and a half later, she'd take the fenben. Then a day and a half later, she would take more sorafenib and ivermectin. So that was the rotation. As soon as we found out that fenben was a tumor promoter in the liver, we immediately stopped giving her that. So April 26th, she takes some more. Then April, she takes some more of the ivermectin sorafenib. And we gave her some more mirtazapine to help her appetite a bit. April 29th, Kiara takes, this is when we decided to do the double dose, was April 29th. This is when we decided to go from the 2 milligrams ivermectin to the 4 milligrams ivermectin. And since it's a 2-to-1 ratio, this is going to mean 2 milligrams of sorafenib. So she took 3.9 milligrams ivermectin and 2.3 milligrams of sorafenib. And then on May 2nd at 10 a.m., we gave Kiara some anti-nausea to help her keep her food down. She slowed down with eating again, so we decided to give her some appetite stimulant, mirtazapine, later that night at 7:37. On May 3rd, we gave her some more, 4.2 milligrams of ivermectin and 2.3 milligrams of sorafenib, so another 4-to-2 ratio. So from here on, that's what we've been doing, is doubling up the dose, because as you can see, on April 29th, that was the day after we learned that she got 4 4 tumors in her liver, which we see right here. April 28th is when we found this out. So we decided to go all out. It's now or never. It's either she survives by giving her a double dose, or she basically just doesn't survive much longer, and it's over. So here we are. This is a fourth quarter. This is game time. We're doing everything possible and doing everything as safe as possible. But at this point, it's either start to get to close ranges of like dangerous toxicity, or just let her die. Either way, it's a losing situation. So might as well take the extra risk and see if we can actually help her. May 3rd. She takes some more of the 4-2, and this is when she started showing slight signs of ataxia in her hind legs, but it wasn't serious. It looked like just a small limp, but it wasn't very bad. So she was handling it pretty well, considering how much she had been taking. And then on May 5th, we gave her some more anti-nausea, and May 6th, she does another 4-2 ratio. And May 9th, we gave her more anti-nausea, because this was the vet prescribing anti-nausea to us after we told them how much she had been throwing up, like with that sometimes 2 to 3 times a day over the month of April. So they gave us a lot of anti-nausea. We've been giving it to her very slowly, trying to make sure that it's not too much. But the vet said with her condition, giving it to her every day would be totally fine. But we've been giving it to her as needed. So she would take some anti-nausea, she'd be good for a couple days, and then she'd start throwing up again. So we decided to give her more. And then she would be fine for a couple days, and then we'd throw up again, and we'd give her more. That was the intent with the anti-nausea. Just give as needed. If she needs it every day, then we will give it to her every day. But she doesn't need it every day, because she's been doing pretty good for a couple days each time we gave it to her. Now, May 13th, where were you? Yeah, right here. May 10th, she takes another 4-2 ratio, and we gave her some more mirtazapine, and not anti-nausea, but mirtazapine to help her eat more. She did. She started eating a lot more, and it's been kind of shocking how much she's been eating, because with today being the 31st, in just 2 weeks, how much she started eating again, and how much better she's been looking. She's got more energy. She's just running around, having fun, being playful, cuddly, very talkative. So huge difference from April to May. It's been shocking with just a couple weeks of this treatment. So we'll get into that later, but May 15th, we gave her some more anti-nausea because she was still throwing up. And May 17th, we gave her another 4-2 ratio. Given that, so giving her the amount was very, very difficult, because having to weigh it, I had to make sure that it was within, I need to make sure it was at least close. So I had to break off tiny pieces and throw it on the scale and add tiny pieces to it instead of just having one big chunk, because one big chunk was either too much or too little, and I needed just a little bit more to get there. But breaking it down was very difficult. So I started, whenever I try to pill her and put it in her mouth and put some water in her mouth so she would swallow it like a pill, it was not all getting in there because it was already a bunch of little chunks, and she would be able to press out even a little bit. That would have been the normal dose. So it became very difficult to actually pill her. So what we started doing is crushing it up and diluting it with water, and then just squirting it into her mouth so she would drink it like a cold medicine kind of thing, the liquid cold medicine that you would give kids. So that's what this note here is for. Given that we needed to start diluting the tablet in water to get her to take all of it, increasing the dosage slightly to compensate for any loss in milligrams during the transfer from tablet to water may be necessary. So that's what I mean by that is when you would try to get it into her mouth, sometimes she would struggle and it wouldn't get into her mouth, but it would get onto the side of her mouth, which would be a loss in medication getting into her system where we need it. So that's what I meant. We're compensating for the loss in however much she will take because of her struggling, or just the fact that it's being transferred from being ground up in a bowl and put into water. Whatever residue was still left in the bowl can compensate for that as well. So just having a little bit more, not too much, but a little bit, will compensate for the loss in medication. And we gave her some more mirtazapine to help her eat more. On the 17th, on the 20th, we gave her some more mirtazapine on top of another 4-2 ratio. It was 4.3 ivermectin and 2.6 sorafenib. May 24th, Kiara's taking 4 milligrams and 2.5 sorafenib. The diluted, using the syringe to feed her water mixed with the meds proved to be pretty difficult considering the syringe was really big compared to her mouth. So spilling was a consistent thing that would happen, and she wouldn't get the full dose. However, she's been eating regularly and hasn't vomited in quite a few days, which is such a massive improvement that we still think she's still getting most of it. But just note that feeding her with a syringe needs to be very slow so she can keep up with drinking it. Because the faster you push on the plunger, the faster she would have to drink, and she's not a chugging champion in Germany. You know, she can't chug a beer in 3 seconds, so she has to drink slowly, and that therefore it's just noted push slowly on the plunger so that she can drink it slowly. On May 24th, she takes another 4-2 ratio. The diluted water with the medicine is making it hard to judge how much she's actually taking in, as I was saying. So we're going to try to find a smaller syringe, and I did find one on Amazon to make it easier. It's just I think it's a 10 milliliter syringe, so very, very small. The most that I put into that syringe is 6 milliliters, so it's almost barely halfway full. But on May 25th, Kiara takes some more anti-nausea because she threw up a little bit more, but that's the first time in over a week that she had to take anti-nausea, May 15th to May 25th, so 10 days. 10 days straight with no taking anti-nausea. That's awesome. That's exactly what we want to see. We want to see her stop throwing up and start eating more, which is exactly what's been happening in just a small amount of time. It's shocking. It's absolutely mind-blowing. May 27th, we gave her another 4-2 ratio. Using the smaller 10 milliliter syringe worked way better for her to get it in, for her to take it all in. And this time, she's actually getting most of it without spilling, like the vast majority of it. I'm talking very, very small amounts are being spilled, which is huge. And then today at 9 a.m., she got another 4-2 ratio dose. It has been way different seeing her go from throwing up 2 to 3 times a day back in April to today. She's not throwing up. She threw up, I think it was either yesterday or 2 days ago. No, it was 2 days ago. She threw up 2 days ago. So today is Saturday. She threw up on Thursday. And at first, we thought maybe she might need some anti-nausea. As it turns out, she does not need the anti-nausea because holy crap, she threw up so much food. She clearly ate way too much, way too fast, and we figured that was probably her stomach just saying, dude, no, I can't hold all of this, and she just threw up. It happens, like cats throw up. So I don't think that was because of her cancer or her feeling nauseous. I think she just ate too much too fast and just threw it all up. A few moments later, she started eating again. And later on the next morning, I did see her, she had a little vomit spot. So I told my girlfriend to keep an eye on her. If she throws up again, we will give her anti-nausea, but she hasn't thrown up since. So we're confident that was just a one-off thing. So she hasn't needed anti-nausea since then. But yeah, it was like 2 to 3 times a day back in April. Now, maybe once every 10 days. That's a huge difference. Huge difference. She's eating most of her food. She has so much energy. She's playful. She'll chase toys. She's very cuddly. She's very loving, very talkative, always trying to hang out with us when we're in the room with her. Lately, we've been leaving the door open to her room to where if she wants to come out, she can come out by herself. And she has. She came down into the basement when we had guests over. It was hanging out with all of us. Huge improvement from her just trying to hide away in the bedroom and just keep to herself. It's been a massive difference between April and May. Now that we're at the end of May, we're very, very optimistic that maybe this double dose has been helping to not only slow the process of her symptoms and her tumors, but actually start to reduce the damage that has been done to the point where it's starting to fade away. So that is where we are at. This half-life calculator over here is what I wanted to show you, what we were going by. Here you can see the dosage is 6 milligrams, which is 4 milligrams combined with the 2 milligrams. So ivermectin to sorafenib. And right here it says it plateaus right around, let's change that, fix that again. Oh. It plateaus right around 9.5 milligrams. So this is how much is in her system at a time, 9.5 milligrams. That's a lot. Every 84 hours, that's a lot. So we're looking at about just over 2 milligrams per kilogram, because she weighs 3.7, roughly maybe 4 kilograms now. So if we're going by milligrams per kilogram, that would be 9 milligrams divided by 4, which is 2.2. Yeah, 2.2-ish, right around there, 2.5. 2.5 times 4, 10. So yeah, 2.2-ish, right around there. Yeah, so it's a very, very high dose, because it's even high for humans. For humans, a high dose is anywhere between 2.5 and 3 milligrams per kilogram. So this is an extremely high dose for a cat. Should not be giving her this much, but at this point it's all or nothing. So that is it. This is only if sorafenib and ivermectin have the same side effects. So this is where it becomes tricky. We don't know what the side effects of sorafenib are for a cat. So the fact that she has shown no signs of ataxia with a dose this high leads me to believe that sorafenib might not have the same neurological effects that ivermectin does. So ivermectin is still just this guy right here, the 4 milligrams per kilogram. So it plateaus at about 6.2. So 6 divided by 4, where she's getting just about 1.75 milligrams per kilogram. Still a very high dose. But it's not nearly as high as this. So and this is all assumptions. Remember, this is all like guess and check. We're not doctors. We're not scientists. We're just going by what the data is that we have available to us is. And according to what I've seen in everything that I've been documenting, sorafenib doesn't have the same effects on the neurological system that ivermectin does. So 4 milligrams per kilogram, or not 4 milligrams. Yeah, 4 milligrams for Kiara is about 1 milligram per kilogram at this point. So that's a high dose for a cat, but it's not causing any serious side effects. It did for a little bit, just for one day, but I think as she takes it, she builds a bit of a tolerance to it and she can handle it a bit easier. And these are all assumptions. Again, I don't have any scientific proof for this. This is just what I've been observing. But in combination, the sorafenib and ivermectin, the total right here, about 9.5 milligrams per kilogram is what we would be at, or 9.5 milligrams would be in her system. That would be the max amount, which is about just over 2 milligrams per kilogram, which is an insanely high amount. But since it's not acting like ivermectin, I don't think that's the case. It's not like this graph here. It's more like this graph here, which is more around 1.7 milligrams per kilogram. Still high, but if that's what we need to do in order to help her get better, so be it. We're going to make sure we're taking care of her, keeping a very close eye on her, making sure that she's okay. She's been doing so much better in the past month. It's been unbelievably shocking. So in a couple weeks, we're going to take her in for another ultrasound and see if we've made any progress. And hopefully we have, and we'll be able to show you guys that we have made progress here. But if not, we can rest easy knowing, dude, we gave it our all. We did all the research. We did everything we could. I found everything possible that could help, and I applied it in the best way possible in to the best of my knowledge that I could. Again, big thanks to the vets and the doctors for helping us out. I know that this is impractical, so I don't want them to lose their licenses, hence the privacy and the redactions. But they've been mega helpful. Just been working with us the whole time. They're not super upset that we've been using off-label medications. They're not super upset that we've been doing things on our own without them giving us the okay. That's huge. I'm so thankful for them. So big shout out to them as well. Other than that, oh yes, let me see if I can get that study real quick. Show you the tumor study, the tumor promoter study. So over here, liver tumor promoting effects of fenbendazole in rats, and that's the same kind of. You need the this guy. Give me 1 second. I need to pull up this sneaky website that my friend sent me. Here it is. Pull this guy up. Here it is. The study. Liver tumor promoting effects in fenbendazole of rats. So this study basically showcased how tumors, in the liver tumors specifically, right here, liver tumors promoting effects of fenbendazole, basically showed that the more fenbendazole that a rat took, the bigger their tumors in their liver got, and it's just not worth risking. Like, fenbendazole can be an amazing compound for other purposes, but for Kiara's specific situation, it is not. So fenbendazole is no longer in the rotation, and it should have never been. And that's on me. I should have done a little bit more research into this so that we could see what the results were going to be or what the possible side effects could be. So body weights and absolute relative liver weights of dilethylentrosamine, DEN, initiated or not initiated rats given a diet containing fenbendazole. Body weight and liver weight, absolute and relative. So fenbendazole, when given, I think 1,800 dose levels right here. Dose levels. So 1,800. I assume that's milligrams. Because for a human being, about 600 milligrams is an average dose throughout the day, or close to 700. So 1,800 milligrams right here. We see that the absolute weight went up by 0.46, and the relative weight went up by 0.15. So that's not good. And the more you take, the higher the numbers become. So this increased by 1.8, 0.05, whereas the lower numbers 0.5 and 0.1. So maybe the lower the dose, the higher it went, but the higher the dose, the lower it went. So maybe if you gave them a shit ton of fenbendazole, it would actually help decrease. But I don't know. I couldn't tell you. The fact that the results say that it does actually increase, become a liver promoter, a tumor promoter in the liver is bad. So it says here, after 8 weeks of fenbendazole treatment, relative liver weights were significantly increased in groups given less than or equal to 600 ppm after DEN initiation. In the non-initiated groups, the absolute liver weight was significantly increased in the group given 1800 ppm, and relative liver weights were significantly increased in the groups given less than or equal to 600 ppm after 8 weeks. So increase in the liver weight would indicate that the tumors are the increased weight. They grew, so they added weight to the liver. So with that being the case, no fenbendazole, so we cut that out. So yeah, that is everything that I wanted to cover. Hopefully, listening to me just ramble on forever and ever was not too annoying, but enough to be educational in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, Kiara's doing great right now. So in a couple weeks, we'll see what the doctors have to say then with an ultrasound and see if we made any progress in actually helping get rid of the cancer cells and her tumors. We're optimistic, but the fact that the vet and the doctors were telling us, hey, she's not supposed to be here. Like, the fact that she's even around is huge. That's very, very comforting. It makes us think that this all hasn't been for nothing. So hopefully we can make it even better. All right, that's it. Hopefully in a couple weeks I have better news.